Hello, everyone. Hello, Dirk.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, good. And yourself?
I'm pretty good. Quite excited to hear about your story. Um, Hello, everyone. Welcome to this live session. So today we'll hear about Dirk's story and what is his experience with the CNC machines. Learning about his background, what he does, and how he uses the CNC in his creations, how it changed, how he works with it, and what are the projects that he does. So I think it will be quite interesting to hear about that. Before I let you speak, because you are the one that is going to speak today, I'm going to listen mostly to what you have to say. That's what we want to hear. Let me switch for a second in French, because I know in our audience we have many French speakers, and then we get back in English, starting with little presentation of who we are, of who Dirk is, and digging into his journey, his experience with the CNC milling machines. Bonsoir tout le monde. Si nous avons des francophones qui nous suivent, sachez que cette discussion ce soir sera faite en français. En anglais, pardon, justement. On va discuter en anglais avec Dirk ici, qui va nous expliquer toute son expérience de travail avec la machine. Si vous parlez anglais, soyez les bienvenus, installez-vous et préparez-vous à apprendre plein de belles choses ce soir. Si jamais vous êtes moins confortable avec l'anglais, on a un autre live qui a été fait il y a quelques jours ici sur la chaîne. Vous pouvez revoir le replay, et un autre il y a quelques mois d'une autre expérience partagée d'un autre menuisier qui est David Brosse, qui nous a expliqué aussi son expérience pendant tout le temps de la création et du travail avec sa machine. Si jamais vous êtes intéressé par plus d'informations et des choses comme ça, n'hésitez pas à nous contacter pour avoir plus d'informations et qu'on puisse discuter ensemble de tout ça. Merci beaucoup et très bon live, et à bientôt. We get back in English, but I know we have many French speakers in the audience, so I wanted to make sure that that everyone knew that we were going to speak in English and not getting lost too quick. First, welcome everyone. I hope you're well installed and ready to learn a lot of things, maybe with something to drink or something to eat. Be comfortable. We'll be together for the next hour and a half to hear about Dirk's story. First, can you confirm in the comments if you can hear us well, if everything is fine, the video, the audio, and all of that? I'll keep talking. If I see some comments, we'll try to make some adjustments. Dirk, I'll let you speak in a moment. Like I said, you are the one that is going to speak today. I just wanted to quickly explain who we are, who Mekanika is for the followers that are on your channel, on your YouTube channel, to know what we do and what we're going to speak about today. So we are Mekanika, and we are a brand based in Belgium, in Brussels to be precise. And the idea of the company is that we want to develop tools and machines for basically anyone, from hobbyists to professional woodworkers and people working in other sectors, to provide them with good quality machines, good quality tools from Europe, with good, I see the sound is good, thanks. With good quality tools and all of that, with European quality, European machines and all of that. And so we designed the machine that you can see in the background here, CNC milling machines. And that is what we are going to talk about today with Dirk, to understand his experience and how he started to work with that machine. Before digging into that, just know very quickly that these are the different models of our machine. We have the Evo model starting machine that we are not specifically going to mention today, but machine for hobbyists, for people that start working with CNC. We have a Pro section machine that is a machine designed for professionals. That is the machine that Dirk has here and is mainly going to talk about. And then we have a Fab machine, machine that has a larger working area that will allow you to work on full wooden panels. Maybe as you've seen written at the bottom, we offer 10% on all the packages of our machines. So if you want to get equipped in 2025, it is the moment. Send us an email, contact us on our website, type Mekanika, and we'll get back to you to discuss the project. That's it. I have spoken way too much than I should, because the idea today is to give the word to Dirk that will explain his experience. So maybe you could start by introducing yourself, maybe explaining what you do, what type of content you make, how you started this journey, and just quick introduction of who you are, basically.
Yeah. Well, thank you. A good introduction is always, I think, a good start. So thanks for that. I'm Dirk Monster. I'm from the Netherlands, and I do a lot actually. So, but woodworking I do that already for, I would say, since maybe 14 years on a different level, obviously increased in level and the things that I do, but making stuff, furniture, cabinets, I did that since my 14, 15. So as a hobby, I never did it professional full time. I always also developed other jobs and studies that I did. So I currently have also a different main job, and I do this also beside my main job to try to have not that much pressure on this whole thing. And to be creative, and maybe in the future I can do it full time, but we will see. It's very nice where you can take the time for your project. So that's who I am, that's what I do. So I really trying to explore the possibilities with woodworking. I read a lot of books, do a lot of study on the physics, the physicals of the physics of material and what you can achieve. So that's it, and that's my goal, and that's where I'm at now.
That's already pretty much how things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already quite impressive. Are you more a self-learner, or you went through lessons to classes to learn all of that?
No, we call that. How do you call that? I did it. I'm self. I learned everything myself. So I never took class. I did a lot of other classes for construction work, building houses and stuff like that. So I have a lot of building and construction experience. But furniture making and the level that I do now, I learned everything myself. I really think that's very hard to get a specific good education in this work, besides some countries like Germany where they provide that. So yeah.
And what type of creations do you like making? I see the small cabinets and things like this. What are typical pieces that you do?
I really like to do the pieces where you can add as much detail as possible or be as creative as possible. So most of the time those are not the cabinets or custom fitting furniture pieces that need to be super productive, or also when you have a very large cabinet for clothing, you don't want to have too much details because that's going to be way too much screaming in your room. So we had the detailed types of furniture, so specific chairs, small cabinets, side tables, where you can create something that is unique and enjoy. You can enjoy watching it, really. Yeah.
You're rather the side of quality rather than quantity, and having well finished pieces and things like this.
Yeah.
Good. What tools do you work with? So we're getting to CNC milling after, but I think it's interesting to know what you're equipped with and what are the things you do to make these creations.
I own, I would say, the full line of the basic tools. So the hand planers, the routers, all that. I don't have that much big machines like very wide drum sanders or massive router tables. So I do have a fairly small shop. So I don't own a big sliding saw or anything like that. But I would say the point where I'm now, I can do what I like to do, and I have basically all the tools, and I could improve it, but then I need to spend a lot of money. So I would say I got everything I need, and that's a lot to go over. It's a fairly big collection, I would say.
Yeah, and like always, you start small, and then after getting one tool after another, and
Yeah.
new projects, things like this.
That's the benefit if you go to classes, if you go to school, and if this is your main job, it's very hard to build up a proper workshop for yourself where you can do stuff for yourself. And if you have you have a decent income from something that is not very spectacular, but then you can invest money back in your shop, and then you can develop skills, tools, and I would say you can't develop if you don't do the things. Yeah, development comes with practice. So yeah, you have to start somewhere, and then you can't wait on a business. So for instance, if I would start working somewhere, they do only one type of cabinet or two or tabletops all day. You don't develop all the skills that I did in the last couple of years. So yeah.
Yeah, so you have to make things, and then I guess you get better and better. You know how to use, to get more efficient, getting better finishing, things like this. So it's a whole process, I guess.
Yeah, it's the learning curve is insane, actually. Off the whole. Yeah, and in the beginning, I would say 5 years ago, 6 years ago, if you ask me what I'm doing now, I would say I'm crazy. And I seriously said to some guys around me, like, I'm never going to do dovetails. I'm all that bullshit, like why there's a domino joint there. Now I'm doing like.
and I say it is in part for fun as well. I see you smiling, speaking about dovetails.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah. It's you can create so much beautiful stuff, way more than simple boxes, which is also very nice sometimes. But it's very nice to put all the attention in details, and you need a lot of stuff to do that. I always admit those guys who just have fairly simple tools and also creating very stunning stuff. So yeah, it's I would say you have to develop your skills, your hand skills, your things, the way you think, actually how you can achieve something, because there are a lot of ways to do something.
Yeah, you have to find the right way to do
Yes.
it with the right tools and with what
For
you
yourself.
have.
Yeah.
Were you ever equipped with a CNC machine, something like this, that is automated before getting to this machine? Have you tried before, or?
That's also a good question, I would say, because I know where if you asked me 5 years ago CNC, I was like, nah, that's not woodworking. And then I bought a shaper. So shaper origin, because again I don't have a very big shop, so I extended it now, so I have more space. But I needed to do some stuff, curves, templates, which it takes so much time to make all these jigs, and basically it's the same, right? Because you take something that you have drawn out or have in your mind, and then you do it in NDF, and then you lay it on a solid piece of oak or walnut, and then you copy it. So I bought a shaper. I use that a lot, actually, for a lot of tasks in the last 2 years. But I noticed that I don't like to stand like 1 hour with that machine in my hand. I didn't enjoy that. I still don't enjoy that. For something small, I really find the precision super cool. But for batching out some moles or whatever, it was not very satisfying. So that's why I opened up my eyes also for the CNC world, which is another level. I would say a different level. Shaper feels like a little bit easy. They make everything super easy. A lot of prepared stuff is in the machine, but that makes also the boundary straight there, right? If you want to be creative stuff for yourself, you have to do a lot of workarounds, and that's where I really wanted to step up for a CNC, really. So that's my experience so far. And I also did aluminium milling for my work. So it's not that I owned the machines, but I did a 1 year we needed to make our own components for a very big project that we were doing, and that's where I also saw the possibilities with a Ford X machine. Simple, accurate, fast. You can walk away, can go back, and then it's done. So yeah.
So first you didn't know it existed, then you tried a bit, then you went to the shipper origin to be like semi-manual and something like this, and then you were like, okay, I need to go to the next step and get a machine that is fully automated so that I can make things at it more time, but without having to actually do it myself. If that resumes it.
I don't like. How can I say that? I don't like to make jigs. I don't like to make a perfect workshop. I like to create furniture, and I like to do that as fast and as efficient as possible, because I have a very busy life with kids, with a job, with a household. So the time that I'm in the shop and I'm able to work, I want to be efficient. And I remember the days where I had to shaper like a lot of stuff, and I'm like, this will take me the whole evening. And it would also be possible to call my friend with a big CNC, and he does it in like 30 minutes, and I can pick it up. So yeah,
I've just lost a day making jigs where I could do real cabinet making.
Yeah.
So it's like this.
Yeah.
And then when you thought like, okay, I need an actual CNC milling machine, what was your way of decisioning and taking the decision on what you need for the machine? Did you have any specific things you were looking for?
Yeah, no, not really. I would say a certain dimension. That was really important for me, a certain dimension, and the possibility to understand the tool, because obviously a lot of CNCs come straight on a pallet from China, and you don't know how it's all put together. And then if something is wrong, it's not level or whatever, you have to figure it out. And so I see that around me a lot. So cheaper CNCs with a lack of instructions and a build manual and all that. And there are guys, they're super handy, they're very technical and way better than me. So for them it's good, but for me, I wanted to have a machine that's as fast as possible operational, but I also want to understand what's going on, because you have to problem solve a lot of things in your life, and also there are always things are going wrong or whatever. So that's how I came to a very narrow market field, basically, for some machines like this. And then you have not much options, I would say. At least that's my experience in Europe, in the Netherlands. There aren't that much professional heavy duty machines with a lot of possibilities. So that's the way actually that it went.
Yeah, it's always complicated to find the right tool at the right budget with the right qualities and all of that. You were mentioning that so many things can go wrong. What were your biggest preoccupations when thinking about going for a CNC machine?
The accuracy, the lack of accuracy is very annoying. If you can't get that right, I had table saws that were lacking accuracy, and I had to adjust it all the time, every time, and it's so annoying because you wanna work and you don't wanna work on your tools. I hate it to work on my tools. I do like sharpening my planers and chisels, but I only do that in once a month for 2 months, and then I have a dedicated, okay, it has to be done, and then I go in and do it. So I don't want to be busy with my tools all the time. Tools are there to assist you to create furniture or whatever you do. And that's the same with a CNC. I want to have a machine that I can turn on, plug the thing in, plot my whatever I'm cutting, and then run it. And I see all those videos online with people make their own stuff and all the add-ons, and I'm like, oh man, that's another world. That's
not for me.
It's very cool, but it's the mechanic world. It's the same as with Fusion. You know, I work with Fusion, but a lot of people that work with Fusion, they are actually drawers. You know, they draw all day. And for me, a drawing needs to be super functional, clean, and fast. So I don't like having all these. You need to learn everything, and you know, it's a learning curve for CNC. It's a learning curve for your drawing program. It's a learning curve for your hand tools. So it's it's all over the place.
You need something that is reliable and that will be working, because you don't want to lose time and invest time into learning that. If at the end the tool is not good quality. Once you are decided, okay, I found a machine that I need and all of that. How did it happen at first? So you received the machine. Were you more like worried? Oh my God, what am I doing? Or more excited? Or what were you thinking?
Well, to be honest, the first time that I had all the boxes on a pallet, which was very well packed, I was a bit amazed. I was a bit overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, like seriously, I have to put everything together.
So much to do.
Yeah, it's and then you go online and then, but you have no clue where they are talking about the instruction videos that you guys provide. I'm like, what the heck? But I find the time. I made space, and then I just started one day, and it's actually straightforward. So yes, I was really overwhelmed. I'm like, how am I ever gonna finish this off on time? Or I had a certain time frame in my head. But overall, I would say afterwards, it was fine. And actually, I really enjoyed it. Which I would not say if you asked me this when the boxes were here and this wasn't here. I would be a bit scared. But I really enjoyed, like, bolt everything together and go through every step. Just like now I do understand the way this machine works, the motors, the where the bushes are, how it spindles. So yeah, that's what I like. Then you understand where you're working with, and that's good, I would say.
And if you were asked to do it again, oh God, no, please. But if you were asked to do it again, what would you change? I mean, are there things that you wished you would know before getting the machine and actually building it and using it at first?
Yeah, there are some stuff that I wanted to. But as for me now, I can say it. I called somebody who has this machine as well, and I said I had some questions. And then he was saying it to me, oh, you have to do, I don't remember exactly what it was. Oh yeah, something with flattening the board. And it didn't make sense to me. You know, it's because you yeah, I don't know. It's just like, you have to learn it first. You can't explain somebody how to ride a bicycle when he never touched the bicycle. You know, you can't, it's the feeling you need to. So I was flattening my board. And I called him up. I said, look, how do you do that? He said to me, well, look for the most highest spot on your board and then take that as a 0 point. I didn't do that. So it took a lot of material away. I'm like, what's going on here? You know, like, it's just,
what have I done?
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, all these kind of small stuff. And I had a very funny thing. There was one sensor flipped around, so one sensor was sitting there, needs to be there, and the other way around. And yeah, but that's the thing. If something is wrong, you have to dive in properly, deep enough, and I didn't do that, so I messed up a small aluminium rod, which is replaceable, easy. But that's just more like if I would do it again. Especially in the last steps, take more time. But honestly, you've been working on this machine for, let's say, 9 hours, and then it's all put together. You're stoked to put something on there.
Play with it.
Got it. Yeah.
And so the you would say the first creation, the very first step with the machine were not perfect. That
No,
that is what I understand.
no, and the first things were not perfect, and that's I think it also had to do with it's only my mistakes basically,
Mhm.
the lack of knowledge, but that's it's quite simple. It's super simple. Those were the simple things, like synchronize or how to zero or yeah, you zero your bit. It's simple stuff. But honestly,
Yeah.
everybody needs to go through that. I think.
Yeah. You have to start somewhere. and
Yeah.
and how long did you take to like feel comfortable and feel like, okay, no, I know what I do. It's not just discovery and not exactly knowing, or you're still in the process of learning that. Where do you feel you were comfortable enough with using the machine?
Yeah. Because I did I think a really important thing is here is, or you have knowledge of VCarve or anything, any program that helps you to cut something on a CNC. So if you are a Shaper user and you never draw something like that in a you never use VCarve or whatever, something like that. You always go to Shaper Studio and then you upload it to your Shaper and he does the cam thing. But
Hmm.
in Shaper, for me, Shaper doesn't have anything to do with heights, so it only goes in like 1 millimeter, and you say how much passes, so it will do the exact same thing as this machine, but it doesn't. You don't have to say what kind of bit. You don't have to say what kind of spindle speed or ram power or pocket or whatever. It's more like it's I would say entry level, but the really important thing with CNCs that I learned is you need to have knowledge of a proper drawing program or a good after cut system like VCarve or anything like that. So with that knowledge, I had that knowledge because I did a fusion course 5 days fusion course, a full
Hmm.
day long, and I also learned the cam page. And basically, that's where the money is, right? Because if you have your cam files correctly, this is peanuts, I would
Hmm.
say, because that's where you program what this thing needs to do. So I would say the machine is super simple. On some points, there are some points that you need to learn that I also still need to learn. But the most important thing is how do you put the right codes in the machine that he does the thing that you
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
Mhm. And you would say that the biggest challenge was that part, like knowing to know how to create files and things like this, or other challenges that you faced.
Well, normally, as a if you're a hobbyist and you have a shop and you normally go in and start fixing and building and creating and whatever, and then you leave and then you're done. But with this, you have to fix, build, create before you build, fix, create, whatever,
Hmm.
because you have to do your homework before you start, and that's just a different way of thinking, different way of planning. Now I have to go online, go on my computer, sit there for 1 or 2 or 3 hours, and have a nice drawing. That's what I want, or maybe a jig. Maybe I want to have this as an inlay or whatever. I have to measure it, and I have to set a cam file in Fusion then, or you go to VCarve, you say what it needs to do, and that's the thing that you have to learn. So I would say you have to think differently a little bit and you have to get used to that. Normally it's super easy, you go in and work, and now you have to do uh, pre-work before you can actually do the real stuff.
Hmm. And was that like the click, knowing that you have to think differently?
Yeah.
Is there a moment where like, okay, now I'm starting getting it? And was it when you realized that things are done differently with this type of machines?
Yeah yeah I think with Shaper you can do a lot even on your telephone. You can
Hmm.
go in studio and set some minor corrections and then save it, and then you have it straight away on your Shaper, which is easy. But with this, you have to generate new G codes. So whatever for I also broke a small router bit because I didn't do multiple steps, because
Mm-hmm.
and then it plunged in straight away to the bottom, and then it start cutting. And you have to, well, with some operations you have to do multiple steps. Um, you can make the same mistake with a shaper, by the way, because that also goes down and you have to say multiple passes. But you can adjust that on the machine, and with this you have to generate new G codes, and then you have to be on your computer, which is easily done. And that's just a thing that you have to, yeah, you have to get used to that. Now, before I run something, I run it virtually on my computer, and I can see, okay, does it what it needs to do? Okay, and then I generate the codes.
Mm-hmm. And what software do you use? You mentioned Fusion 360, you mentioned vCarve. So these are two softwares you can use to create G codes. What are you using, and why did you make this choice?
I only use Fusion, and that just has to do with you can draw in Fusion, and you can take bits and bobs from your drawing and create stuff that you can cut out. So it's easy
Mm-hmm.
to design and use your design as straight away for your cutting operations. Um, and that's the only thing that I use. I saw that VCarve is also very handy, especially when you just want to have a circle or some random stuff. You just draw it and say it. So I think it's easier than the Fusion cam page, as what I saw. But for me, I'm used to Fusion now, and yeah, it's just fine.
Mm-hmm. After learning and doing mistakes, then you're going to it and when doing it well, I guess. Um, and what resources did you use? So you mentioned you had a training in Fusion. Did you find other videos? Did you use some of our resources that were interesting, or did you have some books? Other things you would recommend to learn quicker with CNC milling?
Um, I actually didn't do any study on CNC milling. I watched maybe one or two YouTube videos from some guys that do a very long video for CNCing for beginners, and they go over all the stuff. But I think I learned a lot with the shaper, with spindle speeds.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think a CNC is it sounds very like robust and heavy duty, as in you have to learn a lot. But it's actually when you understand the routing part, speed, how the machine will move, then it's quite simple. But I think that's also that I work in an environment where they run 3D printers
Mm-hmm.
and aluminium spindles all day. But I would say if you're completely new, there are very good resources and very good videos out there for free that explain everything that you need. Also, if you don't have a lot of experience with hand routing, which I do that already for, I would say, 15 years, so I know
Mm-hmm.
route a three flute, one flute, upcut, spiral cut, compression. I use that already for years on my hand heft router, so I know that part already, which is for some maybe also challenging. So yeah,
So the woodworker experience helped you to
yeah,
practice with the machine and know quicker how it works with to know how to work on certain pieces, on certain type of woods, type of materials and things like
yeah.
this. Mhm. I'm asking all the questions, but if you have questions in the chat, ask them, shoot them. At the end, we have a small Q&A session. So if you have questions for Dirk, don't hesitate, ask him, knowing what he was thinking about things, if he has some tips and all that. We're not over yet, but ask all the questions you have on the chat, and we'll take the time to look at them just after. Um, Now, so we spoke about how you started working with the CNC, the learning curve, and all of that. What about now? How does CNC integrates in your projects? Is it a tool that you use, that you already used for some projects that you wanted to do that you couldn't do before? Or how does it fit in your workshop at the moment?
I finished a nightstand with its which was completely round and a lot of round shapes, and I did I did 4 of them. 2, I outsourced the CNC work because I didn't have the CNC yet. And 3, the other 2 I did, and then I had this machine build up before I started them, and I create basically furniture from now on. I implemented in making a jig for making round stock. I did a lot of I did trophies for a running race. So I made a lot of trophies. I made, yeah, I did already a lot of stuff on there, and basically all the stuff. I'm always using templates on projects. Always, there's always a template that I need, or yeah, I'm gonna create doors for now. I'm making a Japanese style TV stand, so the doors will have some really small slats in there. I will create that on the CNC as well. So I incorporate it as a assisting machine. So I'm not creating only furniture from the table from the CNC. I will create molds. I will cut some particular parts. Maybe they are very complex to do, and yeah, that's super great to have this to cut a certain dimension piece of wood, which I did for the nightstand, which was round. So I cut it first the outside circle, and then I cut it the inside circle, and it was like 100% perfect, like exact how I designed it in Fusion. I really enjoy that.
Which is a good thing. After learning how to use, actually getting to projects you do and see the satisfying part.
There's only one down part. It should run, and you can stop. You can do other stuff, but it's also very fun to watch. So.
Has it changed the way you design the creations? I mean, do you design things differently, knowing that you will be able to do things with the CNC machine, or not particularly?
Yeah, I would say I already outsourced before I had this one CNC work by a friend of mine. So I already think of stuff that you can do with a CNC and helps you to create some particular templates. Or I made a very big template for a 3D coil that I made in a side table, which was 3D blended. So that was all CNC. I draw it in Fusion, and then I made all these templates with a CNC, and now I can do it myself. So yeah, I think in possibilities of all the stuff that I have. So yeah, I will incorporate this in my design as well. Yeah.
So it would open new possibilities.
Oh yeah.
You still need to explore things and adapt and create new things. So you were producing to other people before? Well, other people were producing for you, and now you can do it yourself. Does it help you? How is it better to have your machine? Well, what difference does it make?
I outsourced it, and I made some minor mistakes, and then you have to do it again. You have to pick it up, bring it, go up and down. It takes time. It's not ready on the time that you want. And now I can. And what I also did, I never was CNCing solid wood because I wanted to have templates, because my wood wasn't glued yet, and I don't want to glue a board together, put it in my car, which is cold, back in a workshop that is warm, so it's got a cup or bow.
Yeah.
So now I can lay solid wood on this, and I can cut it straight away, which saves me MDF, so material. It saves me time. That's super beneficial.
Yeah, which is good because it opens new possibilities, and you can do things. I guess you can prototype as well. Small tests and things like this without having to have someone making it for you, then going back and forth and all of that. Interesting. Maybe some limitations that you have at the moment that you want to do in projects that you haven't tried because you're not yet ready to do these things, or things you want to do and envision to do in the future.
You mean like limitations with this particular machine, or like my limitations and this machine is capable of?
It can be both. I'm interested in learning what you have in mind and what you can do now with the machine. But if you have some limitation for the machine, it's interesting as well for the people that listen this.
Yeah, I would say my friend has a massive CNC, so that's a whole nother level. So I'm not comparing my CNC or my work with his CNC. But a tool changer was definitely something that I noticed very quickly, like because I do a lot of stuff. I do 3D carving, and I do some pockets, and I do the contour, which is all different operations. So what I do now, I made like 3 operations, and then I have 3 G codes files, and then I change the bit, synchronize it. For me, for now, it's fine. But that was one of the things that would be very great if that would be automatic, because then it saves another step, some work. But again, it's not major yet, I would say. Other stuff, I would say I have to learn now the how to use the machine as precise as possible for some operations, and that's more my user's experience with the machine, and that's just developing skills, right? Because practice will develop your ability to understand the machine and how you can set it up quickly and repeatedly. Other than that, I see a lot of possibilities. I wanted to make a hole in my table so I can also do like stuff. So I'm thinking of making something below the surface so I can do like table legs with a round tenon.
Yeah.
Yeah, limitations, but on the other hand, also possibilities.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I mean, to hear someone with the machine giving us some learnings, some feedbacks on what they want to do. The good news is we are working on the tool changer. It's a bit too early to mention it already. The product team won't be very happy I mentioned that, but people that's just, yeah, we are working on it, and it will be available on the machine. At the moment, it's quite easy to change, like you said, for small projects and all that. It works quite well, but it is something that will become possibly on our machine. So interesting to know that we already have one user.
Yeah, well, 100%.
I see we have some questions in the chat. Keep asking them. We'll take them all at the end in the Q&A section. We'll still have like a few things I wanted to speak about, and then after we get to these questions, but they're well noted, and we will answer them just after. So keep shooting. We'll get to them. Just before that, one point I wanted to get your advice and your experience on are the learnings that you have with the machine. So what would you say, and that is a difficult question, is the biggest learning that you made since you have the machine? What is the thing you're like, okay, yes, that I didn't know before, and now that I have a machine, I know there is that.
Let me. I would say, and that has to do basically not specifically with the machine, but with the programming of like the steps that you need to encounter to have this properly set up and work well. Because the machine is, I would say, without saying it wrong, fairly simple, right? Because you have like a coordinate system. So if you understand coordinates, I'm ex-Marine, so I have coordinates drawn in my brain. So I, that's already, yeah, that's simple. And I would say the learning curve and the learning part is definitely understand what your machine will do on certain steps. So going too fast or going too slow, or with woodworking, especially with CNCing, or you're very scared, which I was in the beginning. So I went too slow. I set everything very slow because I wanted to see what's going on, but that's no good because it has to have a certain speed to work properly. or you set it too fast, which I also did. I was like, oh, I can speed up the process here, and then it doesn't work as well. One thing that come to my mind meanwhile speaking is clamping down your workpieces. It's a very important thing that I learned. If you are doing pockets or if you are doing contours with a upcut bit, it automatically has a upcutting effect. If you are having a lot of space, it will have a pushing effect. If you are cutting out something very narrow, which is 40 mil thick, then it will automatically the pulling effect will be more as deeper the machine will come. So having enough tabs, which are these small things on the bottom, so you don't cut it all out, which is very. I also made a mistake with that. I was like, oh, I can do like 5 tabs in Fusion. That's enough. And then these things breaks, you know. So that's I learned that having it safe on your workbench with having it in your mind, using what kind of bit are you using? Are you using a downcut bit? That's safer in a lot of ways, safer if you want to cut very small parts out of your plywood, solid wood. I would highly recommend, if that's my experience, using a downcut bit. It also gives a clean surface, but if you use a very sharp bit, I don't have any issues with a upcut bit. But a upcut bit is I learned that it will pull your workpiece up. So yeah, that's and that's not fun. If I had that once, so I also learned it through experience, and that's just if you can avoid that, it's good. Yeah.
Actually, mentioning the bits is very interesting because it is one of the things you have to know. And even though you mentioned before you knew a bit about him with working with manual routers, it can be different with CNC milling. And so it is interesting. It is important to know what to use, what parameters to do. And once you know that, and like you made, you have to practice, make errors, and know. Of course, there are many resources on the internet. We have like material library guides on our website. There are many feed and speed calculators, so the speed the spindle would move and all of that. But in any case, you can see things, and what you have to do is practice. If that's what I understand from what you said, you have to do, make errors and do again, and master the machine. So you mentioned not going too slow, not going too fast, clamping well, practice.
Yeah.
Any other key learnings you would like to tell yourself 5 years ago, someone that didn't know CNC or someone that is looking at the live right now? Other tips and recommendations on what to do and how to start or things like this? To get
I
to
would
CNC
say
projects.
I got another one. Is I went from learning Fusion to a CNC, and that is not necessarily for everybody needful, because you can download a lot of projects, a lot of stuff online. So if you're a hobbyist or if you're a basic woodworker with circles, squares, maybe some carved work, maybe some detailed work, but you can download on Etsy really cool stuff. So I would say, if you asked me 5 years ago, would you start straight away in Fusion and then learn that and then start drawing and then I went from that direction. But looking back, I think I could start using a CNC way earlier with a lot of simple stuff that I did. I did a lot of simple stuff, and my furniture products are way more complex than I did 5 years ago. And I would say 5 years ago, a rectangle and a square and a round was perfect. So, and then I was outsourcing it, or I was making all these templates with hand and sanding it, and because you're copying it with your hand test router, you see everything that you copy, so it needs to be perfect. It's a lot of time that I wasted on stuff like that. Well, wasted. You learn also from it.
Yeah.
It's.
We understand.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. That's an interesting perspective, and I think learning the software and all of that is important, but you have to practice.
Yeah.
And basically, don't
need to
invest everything in one.
If I look to people around me, they don't understand the software at all. They only have V-carve or some other very, very simple programs where they program their stuff. They draw out a square, they draw out where they want to have the hinges, and if you make cabinets, if you make kitchen cabinets, that's enough. You don't have to learn you don't have to 3D use Fusion. So that's what that I would say. If you asked me 5 years ago, that was my brain. My brain was like, okay, I have to learn all that before that. But that's definitely no.
It can actually be quite quick with some mistakes that you mentioned, but you can actually get to it and have projects.
Yeah.
For people that are watching us, what would you say? When is it important for a project to get to CNC? What do you think? What ambitions and what should people look into getting in CNC, and what type of projects is designed for that based on your experience after using the machine for a few months?
Yeah. I would say everything repeatable, 100%. If you do repeatable stuff, if you are doing one-offs, that's also very challenging. So it's repeatable where you do like and it's one-offs where you do one. But if you do a one-off, you want to be efficient because you need to make money out of that one-off. So that's where I was in the middle. I wasn't doing 100 and I wasn't doing one-offs. I was doing 8 or maybe 3. So then I wanted to have templates that were very useful so I can copy them for multiple times. But I was investing a lot of time and a lot of money in templates, buying raw materials, by planing and milling it perfectly down. So if you have your mind on a CNC, or if you have no clue, I would say you can do very cool DIY projects for just like for the fun, really, which is a very cool thing to do, like Christmas stuff or presents, which I did also. I made some small boxes, which is super cool to give, and for me, super cool to learn the machine. So and some people are doing that as a hobby. So if I know a lot of hobbyists, they do only stuff like that, and a CNC doesn't take away your craft. It will add a lot of extras to your possibilities. That's what I experienced with this one, with the shaper, and also with outsourcing my CNC work beforehand, before I had this one. So for who is it? That's it's really wide. If you want to have perfect inlays for your kitchen knives, some people, do it. I know a guy who only makes inlays for kitchen knives, but now he does it by hand, and it's very, very relaxing. But if you have 10 customers, you need to do something, right? So he started also with CNCing. It's so big. It's actually insane what you can achieve, how you can add it in your workspace. And also, if you are developing new, if you want to create furniture that you can't do before, which I did, because I basically using a shaper or using a CNC for a very long time, but I didn't own one, so it was very complex because I made mistakes, and then I have to as I mentioned. But before I made chairs, I made cabinets, and I sent it off my Autodesk 2D drawings and get templates. So yeah.
No, I think that's interesting. The question was not easy, and you made a very, very interesting answer. I mean, telling everyone can use a CNC machines. I think there are machines for every budget, for every use, and there are many, many different ways of using it. And second thing you said, I think was interesting, is you don't lose the craftsmanship. You don't lose the knowledge that you have. I mean, from what I understand, it just like helps you doing other things, but your knowledge that you have, knowing how to work with different essence of woods, different materials, is useful when you get to the machine. It just helps you like not lose any time and doing the jigs, on doing preparations and things like this. And yeah, I think that's a good learning for people that are here.
And adding on that, I know it's not for everybody, as in some people enjoy make jigs and some people enjoy make stuff where they can hang the tools. But again, if you want to create furniture, if you want to develop, then that is, for me, it's very time consuming. I do enjoy it, but speeding all that up by just like simply doing it a little bit automatic, you can create more, and you can develop more in other skills. So it doesn't take away the craft; it adds, I would say.
That is perfect conclusion for that point. I think that the sentence is is very good. So we are already talking. We've been talking for 1 hour. So I think we'll get to the end and getting to the questions, because I see we have some interesting questions. Maybe one last thing I wanted to know is if you already have other projects in mind, other things. So you mentioned a Japanese cabinet, something like this. Are there projects you already envision doing that maybe we'll see in the near future on your content pages? Any things that you want to do in the future?
Yeah. I got a lot of stuff actually. Coffee table, small coffee table, side table ish. I got a knife holder, a custom knife holder. I got another box that I wanted to do. I got a very big oak cabinet that I will do. I got a wall cabinet for a barber shop where he wants to hang all his stuff in there. So yeah, a lot of stuff to create actually. Yeah,
that's great. I'm looking forward to see that on your Instagram and things like this. Very satisfying videos, so very good. Do you have something to add before we get to the questions? Any other key learning, something?
No, and maybe I just only wanted to add on that how I look to CNC was complex, difficult, and afterwards I can say it's not, and that's just only the feeling that I had. That was my feeling before I owned the CNC, and even before I owned the shaper. I'm like, oh, that's way too complex for me, because you used to create and solve with your hands on spot, and this is different, as I mentioned. So yeah, that's the only thing that I can say. Afterwards, it's actually very simple.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because you mentioned a lot of barriers, a lot of complex things to get to where you are today. But I understand that you're keeping positive and telling, okay, yes, I had to go through a lot of steps, but now I feel quite confident, and actually it's not that difficult. Just when you see all the steps you go through, but at the end, if I understand, it's worth it to get the machine. Very good. We'll get to the Q&A. So I see we have some questions. If you have other questions, ask them now, because we're getting to the end of this live, and we'll try answering all the questions. So a first question from Nigel Cole: do you design your parts, doors, etc., in a way that you can reuse them on other projects?
Do you design your parts? Yes, I do that. What I like to do in Fusion, I like to generate the drawing, and then you can offset it, or you can size it, you can scale it. But I always keep my main drawing and the parts that I cut out in a folder. So on YouTube, on my YouTube video, I always share like my drawings. I'm happy to share them all for free. It doesn't really matter for me. So what I do, I will send the main file, and then you can, or with parameters, if I pronounce that right, take it to your own size. And in Fusion, that is quite simple, but sometimes I just take a DXF and I help somebody with their own measurements. So yeah, I do have a lot of standard stuff already pre-planned for my CNC that I can change to the size that I want.
That's good, interesting. Another thing to know in Fusion is one of the cool thing of Fusion, it's that it's a software that works in parametrics. And so you actually design all different parameters and like constraints from one line to another. And so you can like define this cabinet is like 500 by 500. You can just change one parameter and all the design will get adapted to the dimension that you want. You can even do that with different drawers. You can set up the whole thing with like a cabinet with 4 drawers, and you can just tap five drawers, something like this, and the whole design will adapt itself. So it's quite interesting.
But one thing that I want to add on here, I would invest only in that knowledge, to get that knowledge, if you are willing, if you are going to do a lot of repeatable stuff, because it will take a lot of time to set up and to develop that skill. It's there, it's in the package. But if you do one-offs or two-offs, it's easier to redraw it, only the outside lines that you want to have. And that's super simply done by just copy pasting your main drawing, and then you can take it wider or smaller and just cut it. I hope this makes sense, by the way.
Yeah, to me it does. and I completely get it. I mean, it's true. Don't invest too much time in learning before doing, and don't lose time. Just get the things done. And if it's not for you, even if it's possible, it's not specifically for you, don't go there.
Yeah.
Second question. Are there still things you prefer to do by hand than with the machine?
Yeah, 100%.
That's nice.
Yeah. That's a cool question, by the way. 100% joinery. I know I can do a lot of joinery, but that's where I don't want to lose the authenticity of my work. So joinery by far. And I would say I don't cut everything like some people are cutting their boards in length and width on the CNC, which is possible, but this machine isn't the biggest one, and I don't work with full sheets. So cutting, hand joinery, details, I will do it by hand. Some small inlays, for example, I work with these brass hinges from Brusso, which are very, very nice, but they come in very accurate, and I rather do that by hand, because having it set up on the CNC on the right spot, having it perfect, by hand it's way faster. So, but those are the details in a cabinet, and I would say if you're doing that by hand, you can adjust it real quick. Before you have this set up properly, you've done it already 3 times. So yeah.
And I think that relates to what you said before. Some projects are good to invest time into the drawings and all that. Some are not. And yeah, you have to admit that. It's a fact. CNC is good for certain things. Sometimes don't overkill what you have to do. Just do it by hand, and it's good.
Yeah, one thing to add on that question. I did a very large cabinet for a fit and furniture project with cabineos from Lamello. That's, by the way, a very cool thing that you can do with a CNC. It's a cheap, really strong connection system from Lamello, cabineo, and you can program them in the CNC. So if you do simple furniture, like a small cabinet for your workshop or your kitchen, then I will do everything with this machine. And I'm like, I'm not going to invest time in that, because you won't see it. It needs to be functional and quick. Yeah.
That's good. And it was indeed a really nice question. I see we have a question about the amperes and all of that of the spindle. I won't answer that now because it's a bit more technical, and I'm not sure where you found this information. Send us an email at info@mekanika.io or reach us on our website, and we can send you all the electrical needs and all the technical plans of the spindle and all of that. And we'll give you all the information. And another question: what's the best way to learn quickly CNC and software like Fusion for a complete beginner? Are there trainings you would recommend?
Okay, 100%. Very good question. Because I'm really, really happy that I invest 500 euros, 400 euros. That was the beginning course of Fusion. And I did the advanced course as well, where you go into the camp page, and if you only do one course to understand what you mentioned already earlier, the parametrics, the automation that is possible in Fusion, take one Fusion course, and I will highly recommend Fusion. There are a lot of very complex softwares out there. Or for if you're gonna go and bet on SketchUp, but SketchUp it's very hard to use professional for CNCing. So I would highly recommend invest in a program which is for free. For the if you're doing basic stuff, Fusion is free. So that helps you already a lot to start developing 3D skills, understand what you can do. And I would say don't go on YouTube videos. I really, really don't recommend go on YouTube videos and go learn from people on YouTube that are going to explain Fusion. One, most of the time these videos are 2 or 3 years old and Fusion updates in every 3 weeks. But it's always something new. And two, those most of those guys are very, very well skilled, and for them it's explaining, yeah, what they do every day. So, and for me, that's how I experience it. Like I go way too fast. I have to pause it, do it, rewind it, pause it, play it again. So take a basic course online or physical somewhere where you just learn the basics, and I would say it's super simple. It's afterwards, this is another thing. Afterwards, you're like, is it only this? I was really expecting more, like to learn, and it's like, okay, well, this is enough. So yeah, do a course, Fusion, 100%, and then you invest a little bit, and you're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one interesting thing to add when you mentioned the YouTube videos, first, like you said, most of the time you're going to just repeat and not learning. And what is interesting is for you to understand what you do and not just replicating what someone else does.
Yeah.
And the second thing is be careful, because Fusion is used in many different ways. Many people do that for 3D printing, things like this, and the approach is completely different. In CNC, you have to be absolutely accurate. You have to think about different inlays, things you're gonna put together, things like this. And if you learn without working in parametrics or with the right dimension, without constraints and all that, it will be very quickly a mess. And so get to the right people, getting a training for them. We can provide you with some training if you want, but get to the right people that will be working with CNC for CNC milling and adapted to your project and your level of knowledge and where you want to go. Because like Dirk said before, it makes no sense building and drawing a whole house, a whole full project if you're going to do it once. So learn for what you want to do, and then step by step you're gonna get to other things. But we have many resources on the website, also very articles explaining the basics of that, so it can be a starting point for you.
There is a in the Netherlands, if you're Dutch, unfortunately it's only Dutch, is a very good book from I will look it up. Meanwhile, when we talk, I will look it up. There's a very good book that you can order that goes from A to B, or to the last thing that you can do. And then you have to do it yourself, read it and do so it says what you need to do, and then you understand, but you still don't have somebody who explains you what you're actually doing. But it's already a book that is very I really enjoy it. I still use it sometimes where I have to do stuff that I do quite often. So I learn also from that book, but it's very hard to get good learning material, especially videos, for the current way of using Fusion.
That's good. I think you have many things to think about now. many different resources. Again, if you have questions, send us an email at mekanika.io, and we can send you the resources and check with Dirk what is the resource that he was mentioning in the book.
Yeah.
And see that after. And I see another question. I think that will be the end. So if you have some other questions, shoot them now, and we'll wrap up after. How much of your week is actual CNC time versus design, setup, finishing, or other tasks around it?
Well, I will be honest. This thing is pretty quick, and it doesn't has. I think every CNC is quick, so it runs way quicker than actually. I put 1 hour of 30 minutes of something design, setting it up, and this thing is 3 minutes, 4 minutes maybe ish, because I know what to do, and that's basic stuff. So a pocket, so let's say a pocket and a contour and maybe something small, which I did with a very small router bit, 3mm. I did a inlay work, which is 3D, and I did a contour and did some pockets. So there were 3 different operations. It's like the job itself took 20 minutes, but then I could walk away. The design was like 2 hours because I wanted to have it perfectly. So the CNC work is super fast. Design, you have to invest in a proper design, but that's depending on how complex it is. If you only want to have a circle or a very simple uh, square or some pockets in a board, or a fun thing to mention, somebody sent me his logo and said, hey, can you carve this out and do an inlay? So okay, in Fusion you can bring in your photo and then you can set parameters. So you can say, okay, I want this is actually 20 centimeters or 200 mil, and then you have your photo in Fusion and you can redraw the line and then you can carve it. So it's like a 20-minute job in Fusion and then like a 5-minute job on your CNC. So I would say CNCing and designing is quick. Design costs more depending on the complexity of your work. If you do basic stuff, it's super quick. Are you gonna go more in detail? 3D carving, multiple operations, so like where you have to change bits, which is costing time. I would say this is like 20% of my main project, because my main project is still hand cut joinery, put everything together, making sliding dovetails or whatever. But that's depending on your type of work. Since I work with hardwoods, make hardwood furniture, side tables, there's a lot of details after I did this.
That's interesting, and of course it really depends on the different projects. 2 small points I would add to that is first, you have to compare the time it took rather than doing it by hand. And I think many projects in the overall design and all of that, you get to the CNC, it's very quick, but having to do that completely 100% by hand, like carving a logo, something like this, some of them are not possible. Others would take hours, and maybe you would spend less time in design because you wouldn't need to get something completely precise, but you would need to do some jigs, some positioning, maybe not the same precision, things like this. So overall, I think it's something that is worth it in most of the project, like we said before. And second thing, you will get better. At first, it will take a lot of time. That thing of the logo, for example, that you mentioned, at first you don't know how to do that. So you're gonna search on the internet, search on Fusion and all that. Second time, in 15, 20 minutes, it is done and put it on the machine. So at first it can be take a lot. It can take a bit of time, but after, when you practice and practice, you'll get better and know how to do things more efficiently.
Adding only one small thing to that, me coming from me coming from only working with hand tools, it is speedy. It's actually quite simple, and it's only a small amount that you have to invest up front, and it will save you a lot of time doing it, which you normally did by hand, which you already mentioned. Yeah. So it's not very difficult. That learning curve is not like super steep. It goes really quick.
And I think it's good mentioning learning curve, because we're getting to the end of this session. If you still have 1 or 2 questions, quickly send them. But I just wanted to wrap up a bit of this discussion that we had today. If I understood well, if I make a good summary of what we discussed, if I understood, you were already working with machines, so you had the experience, you had the knowledge of working with all of these. You started slowly with smaller machines, maybe not full CNC. You went to CNC projects. You faced some like apprehensions, like not knowing exactly how to do, what to do, how it works, and all of that. And you had to learn. And the learning curve was quite important for you to get, going to from errors to errors, but every time going one step closer to mastering your CNC machine. And if I understand right now, it is a tool that you can use, something that is useful. So not yet for all the projects, but it is normal. I think it is one of the tools amongst other in the workshop, and it won't replace everything. It will just open you to new projects, new horizons, and it will be able to make projects like faster or more precise and things like this. But yeah, you still need some knowledge. You still need to learn and things like this. And I think that's it. Do you have maybe one last thing you want to share to close this session and other learnings or things you want to say to people that are still listening to us, that would like summarize or give a last tip to people about CNC?
Yeah. Well, I would say if you are thinking of a CNC, I would highly recommend look some. If you never saw it, or if you don't have any clue, trying to go to a trade show or whatever. Everywhere on trade shows, woodworking trade shows, there are CNCs, so you can start see and feel how it works. And if you are struggling to produce more, or if you are struggling to get accuracy there in templates and all that, I would highly recommend, like, that's my experience at least. Starting early with a CNC would help me putting a lot of time in getting some accuracy in some projects, which is fine to do it by hand. As I mentioned in the beginning, you also learn from that. But yeah, other than that, I enjoy exploring the possibilities with this machine, and I will share it on my channels. That's it.
That's good, and I'll show you your Instagram just after. Just lastly, to speak about that. So the machines that we do, we have different models of machines. So the Evo, the Pro, and the Fab machines for everyone. Like Dirk said, a CNC machine is from people that start to people that do professional stuff, and so we have machines for all of these people. So if you are interested, thinking maybe it could be something for me and all of that, contact us. Go to mekanika.io on our website, or send an email at info@mekanika.io. You have all the information in the description of this live, and we can schedule a call with you and understand what you want to do with the machine, maybe based on some learnings that we talked about today, and we can like have a phone conversation and speak about that and see what is the machine that is made for you and how you can do that. And don't forget, until this Monday, 24th of November, we offer 10%, simply 10% on the CNC packs. One of the best, well, actually the best offer of the year, for you to get equipped in 2025. And yeah, so quick mention of that. Feel free to reach us. I think that's it. We are at the end. Thank you very much for your time, for all these very interesting key learnings. Thank you for everyone that joined us. If you joined the live after, there will be the replay available. If you want to get back to the beginning, I think it was interesting, and we learned a lot of things together about CNC machines. Don't forget to follow Dirk on his Instagram page, YouTube as well. So it's dcreation007 and Mekanika. We have a lot of tutorials and things like this. And I think it's pretty interesting to follow what you do, Dirk, to see manual work with woods, not on the CNC. So it's very aesthetic. I mean, it's something always very nice finished things, and see what the CNC can be part of this creation process.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Any other questions, reach us on Instagram, on our website, and things like this. And I think we're getting to the end of it.
Yes.
So we keep in
Thank you.
touch, and I was very happy to have this conversation. It was actually very interesting to hear about your experience. So thank you, everyone. We see you talking on Mekanika channels or directly to Dirk. You can reach for any questions. And yeah, anything else, reach us. And we see you next time on our next live. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.